what started as enjoyment would end up becoming a self-inflicted, I think, life which I couldn't get out of. Right now, where I am in life, with the changes that I've made, I think they would be really, really, really proud of me.
It's past 6 p.m. and the streets are buzzing with people leaving work and others heading home, or for some is to blow off steam. This seems rather harmless and in some ways like an added habit. But below lies a silent killer, a menace that is alcoholism. My name is Gladwell Mombi, and I'll be taking you through a story of one Anthony Kinyanjui, a recovering alcoholic, who will be sharing with us his story of how he overcame alcohol addiction.
What triggered my alcoholism was just dealing with the stresses of life in the States. I'd say it started as a coping mechanism to the culture shock that I was recently introduced to when I got there. So what triggered it was basically work stresses, new relationships, new ways of life that I wasn't used to. And it became what I'd call a stress reducer in my point of view. And with time, it ended up going overboard. Every day would be different but worse. What started as enjoyment would end up becoming a self-inflicted, I think, life which I couldn't get out of. So it started as what would trigger it most of the time was say a long day at work, and I'd feel that, like, say I deserved a drink after a long day at work. Say I had a running with the law, that would also be a trigger. So with time, like, different things and the new lifestyle would keep on triggering the disease.
Some of the challenges that we face as a psychologist with the alcoholics, it's mostly, one, they don't want to accept that they're alcoholics, and when you're treating an alcoholic, the first rule is that you have to accept that you're an alcoholic before you start. Otherwise, even if you cancel and do therapy and everything else, it won't work until you have accepted yourself you're an alcoholic and you want to change. Secondly, it's relapse. Many people start so well, you accept you have been alcoholic, you accept that you want to change and you want to become better, but during the process you get tempted and start drinking again, and now you have to start all over again with them and guide them.
Well, how it affected my work and relationship was, with time, like in the relationship, it was bearable, because in the beginning, it would be just, say, a weekend thing where, you know, it would be me and my, say, ex-girlfriends going out for a drink and having fun on the weekend. But with time, when it started becoming an everyday thing, it kind of started draining the relationships. And most of them would end up, say, you know, giving the ultimatum whether I'd change or not, and most of them ended up leaving. But when it came to the work, I'd go to work most of the time under the influence, you know, and when I'm under the influence, you know how I'd get into trouble with my supervisors at work, and most of the time, it would just be messy at the workplace, because what started as something that most people were not talking about, now everyone knew that, you know, I had a drinking problem. And even though some of the supervisors would cover for me, with time they just had enough, because if it wasn't me being a nuisance at work, I wouldn't make it to work. So I'd, say, have a long weekend of drinking, and I couldn't make it the next day to work. So most of them get, it trickled down to a point where I couldn't basically go to work for weeks, and just ended up losing job after job after job.
My name's Robinson Kinuthia Njau. I'm a friend to Anthony Kenyajui, who was an alcoholic before. Now he has reformed, he's become a different person. I can say that I've seen a big change since before. When he was drinking, I mean, life was miserable for him, and he couldn't interact with his friends and family members. But I can say right now he has totally changed. He's able to concentrate on his duties and what he does, the DJ and what have you, and he's able to connect with his family much better than before. He's totally a different person and a good person now.
Like I said, alcoholism is being addicted to alcohol. And alcoholism doesn't mean that you take a drink once in a while and you become an alcoholic. An alcoholic is someone who cannot function without alcohol, someone who is completely dependent to alcohol.
How I felt the first time when I started drinking, I thought I was in heaven. I felt there was not, the first day that I had a drink, I remember I passed out on my knees. And before that, the only time I'd been on my knees was when I was saying a prayer. So I mean, the feeling was, I thought I was funnier, I thought I was happier, I thought I could sing better. It was just a feeling that I'd never experienced before. It was a feeling that, like proverbially they say, I wanted to have every so now and then. It was a feeling I can't put down in words, because I remember when I woke up the next day, I just wanted to do it again and again and again.
Alcoholism starts, like I said, gradually. You take one drink, you reach a level where your intoxication or your high needs more alcohol. So you get to a place where even though your physical performance is being affected, your physical being is being affected, you still crave and want to take alcohol.
The major challenge I faced was homelessness, because after a long period of losing jobs, losing relationships, losing cars, losing this, that, and the third, ended up where I ended up homeless the last time because I'd lost my job, I'd lost my home, I'd lost my source of income. I'd burned all my bridges with my family. I'd burned all my bridges with my friends. So I ended up homeless. And when that happened, that was before there was challenges with the drinking, because I'd drink and I'd still be able to go to work. I'd drink and I'd still have a vehicle. I'd drink and I'd still have some sort of income. But the last time, I'd just lost everything. I'd lost the relationship, the job, everything. And when I ended up homeless as the first time, was the first time where I just, that was my turning point, because that had never happened. And like homelessness in a foreign place is really hard. So when that happened, that was, I think, the major challenges. Than before, I had other challenges related to the drinking, which were like, say, I'd end up in hospital most of the time. I'd end up in jail, but those were not really as hard as the homelessness part. So that I think was the most major challenge I'd ever faced before.
Noticeable physical changes can also be noticed in one, such as increasing in blood pressure, liver damage, and also heartburn, just to name a few.
How many times I've gone to the hospital, I don't think I can count on both hands but the major ones that I remember, I woke up once, I don't know what had happened. I woke up in an emergency room with the stitches all across my head. I don't know what had happened. To this day, I don't know. But I think my friends, I fell from, I don't know what happened, like I said, but from what I remember is that I had gone to a friend's house, and I guess I fell from a flight of stairs, or I have no recollection, but when I came to, I was in an emergency room with 10 stitches in my head. That was the first time. The major ones. The second time was after 8 days in the ICU. I had not known what happened, only to wake up and be told that I'd gotten a heart attack. That was the second time. The other ones were just maybe passed out outside my apartment, and someone would call 911 and they'd come bring me to the hospital. Those were like so many times. Those are the ones, but the two major ones are the ones that I just talked about.
Well, according to statistics, the stages of alcoholism ranges from occasional abuse, increasing in drinking as a coping mechanism, which in turn leads to issues such as isolation, as well as depression and anxiety.
I think the first step that was really key in my recovery was me personally making that decision. Me coming to the conclusion that I was sick and tired of being sick and tired of that lifestyle. I was sick and tired of being sick and tired of losing the relationships, the jobs, just sick and tired, and I wanted better. And the other steps that really helped me were, I think I'll rephrase that and say that number one, it was me asking God for help. And then after that, me wanting to get the help. Then after that, coming into the program of AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, which kind of incorporated what I'd been going through in my life. And when I came across that program and realized that it was mostly what I had to work on with the help of God, that is what really helped me towards my recovery.
An addiction, to overcome an addiction, it's a gradual process. Now, it can take a lot of time, even years. It can take years for someone to get well and overcome an addiction. So when it starts and you relapse, you start all over again, this is a point you get tempted, you relapse again, it becomes not tedious, but it becomes, it's challenging.
Seeking divine intervention. Enrolling in a rehabilitation center were key to Anthony's recovery. How about the support of family and friends?
Most of the friends that I met, because after the last time when I lost my job, I went to a detox, and after the detox, they referred me to a rehab program. The people that I met in the detox, who had gone through the same thing that I had done, who later became my friends. As for family, not mostly, because some were mostly actively drinking at that point in time, so I couldn't really go to them. But some of the friends that also helped me were still based here in Kenya, and they were not drinking at the time. So I think when it came to that, it was mostly a select few of friends and family that helped me.
I can say Anthony now is able to he has a family. Yeah, he couldn't do that before. And he's now more mature and grown up, and he's able to concentrate on whatever he does it maturely and responsibly. Oh yes, he's now a mature person, a different person altogether.
My friends from the States, whether I was influencing them or they were influencing me, I'll say that they were mostly influencing me to stop, or I came to that, I wouldn't call it an assumption. Basically, most of them didn't want anything to do with me, because I'd, like, from way back when, I'd burned bridges with them. So they kind of influenced me by ignoring me to understand that I needed to change my lifestyle for them to become my friends again. But the ones in Kenya that really, I think, heard that I had made that choice of life were really happy for me, because I think they had the picture of me when I lived here. So they were really happy for me when they had that, I'd made that change in lifestyle.
What I would advise my friend Kinyanjui is to, advise the youths and other people who are hooked up in alcoholism, and so that they can change and they can see you can become a better person when you change, when you stop alcohol. Oh yes, you can advise the youth and those people who are lost in alcoholism. Yeah, he's a better person to do that.
What my family would say about me, then I don't think they had enough words to make a sentence that were good about me, because what like back when I lived in Kenya, what I'd do was I'd take stuff from them to fuel my habit, or to take care of my habit when I was here. But right now, where I am in life, with the changes that I've made, I think they would be really, really, really proud of me.
Fully recovered or a recovering alcoholic, it is necessary to engage in activities that suppresses one's urge to relapse. Activities such as singing, mentorship, public speaking, amongst others. As for Anthony, what activities does he engage in? What makes it easier to overcome the urge?
I'm currently based in the US, where I'm a truck driver. I am also a DJ there in the States. I also mentor youths and also people with addiction/alcoholism issues via a group called Uhai for Health Life. It's also a group formed by a Kenyan who basically faces or tries to address issues facing the Kenyan community at large, say in the States. I also do live videos where I invite a few of the people that I've met in the path of recovery, and we talk about the issues about alcoholism, and also mentor youth through the videos, and also go to churches and different platforms that people want me to speak to about the issues in the society. May it be alcoholism, may it be youth suicides, may it be relationship issues. I mean, it's just a whole platform of things that I basically am doing right now that I think if it wasn't from power of the Most High, I wouldn't be doing today.
My advice to those people who want to stop alcoholism, first of all, you have to accept and seek help. There's no shame in accepting that you are addicted. It's something that everyone will have to understand. And secondly, look for someone who you can talk to, you can confide with, you tell them your problem, who they can guide you and support you throughout the session. Thirdly, go to the nearest rehab, go to an hospital or somewhere where you can get professional help. You can get a psychologist who can take you through alcoholism. And alcoholism itself is an addiction, and it's not something that you should be ashamed of. It's a disease like any other. And if you seek help, it's something that you can recover from. And it starts with the first step of accepting. And if you accept and seek help, everything will be well.
What I'd like to tell people going through alcoholism today is help is available everywhere, but everyone has to want it. You have to want the help for yourself. You have to need the help for yourself. You have to want that change for it to happen. It doesn't, and I'd say this, and I know it might sound different, because anything that is taught or told in any rehab is something that you already know. So help comes from within. It doesn't come from outside. You have to want it for yourself in order for the outside help to help you. And there's so many programs that are available, and I think they are also available here. But for example, in the States, there's so many rehab centers and detox centers that are for free. But all those, whether they may be you pay for or you don't pay for, that you have to need or want the help for yourself.
Be it social drinking or going through a rough patch. Remember, it all starts with one too many. This has been Through the Lens. Until next time, God bless you.